Hey, welcome into a special edition of Halos in the Infield with your host, Todd Fox. This is on me. This is my episode. I wanted to put this up because I'm a little petty about the Dodgers, okay? I freaking hate them. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will never like the Dodgers. Dodger fans, I can't stand unless they're my friends. I tolerate them, and that's all there is to it. Nobody can be perfect, but if you're a Dodger fan, it's like give you a pass. But hey, you know what? It's all good. We all get along. We all trash talk. It's all in fun, right? Now, I was held out of the trash talk competition that we had that Fernando set up the other day with some Dodger fans and some Angel fans, Courtney involved. Um, it's just the fact that work kept me out of it. Else I would have been there. And I wanted to hit with something very hard that a lot of people really forget or don't even know about because it's hush hush, swept under the rug, and no one wants to talk about it because it's the ugly truth. Now, if you don't believe anything I'm going to say on this short video, please look up Chavez Ravine scandal, and you'll see it's all there. And if you don't like reading, just hit images on Google and it'll show you everything I'm about to show you. So obviously this is Dodger Stadium. We're going to go through this pretty quickly. I want to just explain some of the things that happened. This is Dodger Stadium. This next picture right here is obviously what the Dodgers try to embrace, the Mexican culture and their fans. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a huge bulk of Latino culture, and Latinos live in the East LA area, Los Angeles area. Embrace the culture, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Artie even tried that with the Angels. Nothing wrong with that. You want to bring all races, even when Hideo Nomo was there, and you had other pitchers from Asian descent. They catered to them as well, and it's okay, because it brings everyone together to watch baseball, and it's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. That's what you want. You don't want segregation. You don't want any kind of holding out one race or the other. Bring all the fans together, and I applaud the Dodgers for doing that. That's what they should do. But a huge but. In the past, they did not embrace that culture. And in the past, that was swept under the rug. They did not want that culture around their team or their stadium. Because why? This is what the real Chavez Ravine looked like in the late 40s, early 50s, and mid 50s to that extent. You had 1,800 families of Latino descent that lived on Chavez Ravine, which is now Dodger Stadium. They lived there peacefully. They were given the land by local leaders because, again, back in the day, I hate to say it, but it just was what it was. There was a lot of segregation. And obviously, they were given that land. Sort of like the blacks were given one piece of land, whites were given the other land. They kind of kind of stayed away from each other, and then you had problems. It was just a bad time. A lot of people say, oh, the 50s were great. But you had a lot of segregation. You had a lot of racism. And people freak out about the little tidbits of racism today. This was huge racism back then. But anyway, I digress. It's all peaceful there. Going back to the records, looking up things, the Latino people took care of themselves, took care of their families, had their own stores. They started out living in huts when they were first given that land, or just makeshift homes. They would then accumulate money through their hard work and determination to have real homes being built, and nice homes. Okay, these aren't just cheap homes that were like ghetto or like they were the mobile homes. No, these were nice homes that they built up on their own through their hardworking money and effort and determination to become U.S. citizens and be part of the Southern California experience. So that all looks nice, right? As we continue right here, the LA 4, there's another side of Chavez Ravine. This is the other side. Chavez. So think about that: 1,800 families. You multiply that by however many people are in a Latino family. That could be a lot of people. There was really no census back at the time other than they knew that 1,800 homes were there filled with families. They didn't know how many people were there. So just let that sink in as well. So again, things are nice, but the city forefathers decided that in 1951, they wanted to extend Elysian Park into a Elysian Park community, building homes, apartments, and all sorts of things, right? They wanted to kick all the Latinos out of there and make that prime land. They said, hey, downtown LA is growing. This is another part that's going to overlook the city. It's going to be luscious. It's going to be great. They tried fighting and trying to remove the Latinos in the area through all kinds of just terrible ways. First, legally, when that didn't work because they had no grounds, really, they tried to, rough them up. They sent, threatening letters, made threats on property, stuff like that. They went pretty shady. But to their credit, the community stayed intact, stayed strong, fought it, right? Went through the legal loopholes as best as they could. And as they did, they continued to grow as a community. Marriages, people having a good time, enjoying themselves. Again, if you look at that does not look like a poor community. That looks like a nice community. It looks like a community taking care of itself, enjoying itself, and prospering. But that was negative to the people in city forefathers, and especially one guy who had what's it called? He was so greedy, by the name of Walter O'Malley. Who was Walter O'Malley? Oh, yeah, that's the Dodgers' first owner from Brooklyn. He was getting tired of all the BS in the New York area, wanted a new stadium, thought Ebbets Field was too small, wanted to go west and become a pioneer like the Giants. And, well, he started to work his magic. Because in 1957, I think it's somewhere around 57, 58, they started to make headway into moving the franchise. And they had a deadline of 61 to start playing. They needed all these people cleared out because the Elysian Park, the Latino community had beaten that. They fought off the development of all the homes and all the apartments. They fought it off. So basically, they won the battle. But the O'Malleys and the city forefathers said, you know what? If the Dodgers want a stadium, by God, they're going to get it, and at everyone's cost. We don't care. Because who cares, right? No one's going to fight for these people. And you know what? Unfortunately, they were wrong. I mean, they were right. Because you had kids growing up in this area. These are all pictures from that time period. Families enjoying themselves, prospering. But when it came to the Dodgers wanting to come over, you really trust this guy, by the way. This lawyer's smiling. He's smiling. You should have a mad face on you're representing these people right here. That's their lawyer smiling for a LA Times picture. First of all, they should have got a guy of color, number one. Number two, this guy right here he's like more interested in getting on the paper than fighting for these people's rights right here. As you see their signs, they want to save Chavez Ravine, like, help us, keep our homes, keep our freedom, small property owners of America. They're trying to fit in as citizens and being booted as we speak. So, what is the result? They cannot fight the courts. The O'Malleys are too powerful. The city is too powerful. And when they want the land, by God, they're going to take the land. And so cops started coming in there, strong-arming them. And look, these are not even white cops either. They brought in Latino cops to talk to the Latinos. So they're trying to persuade them with their own people. And that must suck for them because at the time, they're probably thinking, man, this is not right. But they're doing it anyway. And it's their job, unfortunately. And you know what? Legally at that point, it was legal to do that. Now you bring in guys strong-arming the people, moving their stuff out for them. And this woman has her kid. She's not too happy. These guys are obviously nowhere related to them. You have some people recording this, but it's not really front page news because they're second-class citizens, unfortunately. So here you go, someone being forcefully removed from the house. The guy with a microphone right there, recording probably for radio. But again, it's not really, like this person, poor woman right here, being dragged away. Looks like her daughter or sister right there. She's being arrested. She's probably thinking these cops are freaking betrayers or backstabbers, you know, like because they're Latino and they're arresting her. They don't see her struggles. They don't care. But again, now she's being pulled away from her kid. There's another kid right there. People on looking. It's just, this is real. This is real stuff. And look at displaced families. Displaced families right here. They're sitting in a cathedral right here in a church. So in a church right here, they're sitting here with no place to go. Thanks to O'Malley and the Dodgers, because they so wanted that land, right? Now, here's the sucky part. The next few pictures I'm going to show you is not disasters. This isn't earthquake, what happened after an earthquake. This is what happened after a bulldozer came. And again, these people own these homes. Most of these homes were built by them, and they were taken away. So again, you have these things that have happened in American history, like, say, for instance, in 1940, I want to say 42, 43, where Japanese Americans were taken to internment camps here in California, and it's really glossed over and not really talked about too much. This is another example of that time period, but after the war. See, at least when you can't get rid of racism and can't get rid of what happened in the past, but you can say something about, let's say, you could say something about how people were, I want to say, displaced, like the Japanese, because you thought, okay, they could turn, they could backstab the country. You know what I mean? So that was the fear. That's why they put them in internment camps. Am I saying it's right? No, it was wrong. They took their livelihoods, their businesses, their homes. Those people, when they were let out, didn't come back to much of anything because it was either sold or recouped by somebody else. Now, this right here is almost similar, but this happened after the war, and these people weren't a threat. This was just pure greed by the Dodgers and the freaking LA City forefathers. They wanted that money. Now, see, here's a home being destroyed. Here's what's left of another home looking down on the street right here. Let's keep going. This video's almost done. There's another home destroyed right there. Again, that's not earthquake. This is, look, there's that woman that was carried away from her house. Now, this right here is an interesting video right here. This guy right here, this is in 1959, late 1959. This man right here fought in World War II for America. And he put a sign out in front of his home, and there, I think that's his mom. I don't think that's his wife, but it says, "This is what we fought for." So he fought overseas for America, only to come back here to get his crap taken away, his hard-earned money destroyed with his house and his property. That sucks. So again, glossed over in history. Here's another family right here. I think that's one of the same ones. She was dragged out of her house. She was interviewed. Look at that, Dodgers in the background. So if you don't believe me, right there, this is, again, right there. They were displaced. They're living in tents because of the Dodgers. And this guy is a representative of the Dodgers trying to listen to them. And, of course, he doesn't care because his wallets are fat. So let's continue here. There's a couple more pictures I want to show you. This is how they were forced out, and this is how they lived. So this is how they lived until they got on their feet. This is outside Elysian Park, in the park where you guys go now to hang out before a Dodger game, or you can't actually because they're not trusted to drink over in Elysian Park. But when you are on non-game days able to go to the park, just remember these people were out there living overnight. So that's pretty crappy. And then here's a guy who benefited from it. Good old Walter O'Malley. They're throwing a baseball up in the air like, "I don't care where I got this land from. I gets to play baseball and make millions upon millions of dollars and then eventually sell the team in the future to corporations who don't give a bigger damn than I did. Ha ha ha! It's the American dream. Even though I got rid of hardworking, honest people that wanted to be Americans, I fatten my pockets. I fatten my pockets because that's a Dodger way." And then you got to build this beautiful stadium that debuted in 1961. So there you go. There you have it. There's your history. And if, again, you don't believe what I'm saying, it's all there on the Wikipedia. If you don't want to look up any book, you could even YouTube this crap. All the freaking things there. I'm pretty sure I left out some little nuggets of information, maybe selective dates and everything else like that. But I do know that this crap ended in 59. That stadium was done in 61. They started the whole process of trying to evict those poor people in 51. They won the battle, I think, in 55. And then the Dodgers were rumored to come in 57. And then no one stopped that freight train, which was the Dodgers, because they were so strong and powerful. So there you go. There's a video. If you enjoyed that piece of history, this has been Halos in the Infield. Todd Fox saying, "What's up?" I'm your controversial host for this episode.